Evening, everyone. Welcome to the No DQ live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for March the 19th, 2021. This Sunday is WWE Fastlane, the final stop before WrestleMania. We do have some updates regarding the card for Fastlane. Stay tuned for that. I'll be talking about the updates, and we might have a few more WrestleMania directions as well coming off of this week's SmackDown. Shout out to the chat room. Shanti, longtime viewer, sent in a $1.49 super chat donation. Thank you for that, Shanti. I appreciate it. He left an emoji. Let's go ahead and get started. We kicked off with Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks backstage, and Bianca said that Sasha is not smart for taking a match against Nia Jax for the Women's Championship so close to Fastlane and so close to WrestleMania. And Sasha said it's because of Reginald. And Bianca responded very frustrated, saying that she is not going to go out there and help Sasha Banks. Shanti, by the way, sent in a cat image saying, cheap plug for your cat channel. I guess I'll plug it. YouTube.com/Aaron Rift. That is my personal YouTube page. Lots of cat videos on there. And travel videos, videos from Michigan, videos from California, videos from Oregon. Check it out. If you like travel and cats, that'll be your cup of tea. Now, let's get back to SmackDown. Thankfully, there was no Reginald this week. Somebody smartened up, although it would not shock me if we see Reginald on Sunday. Reginald was apparently having a spa day. Nia Jax put up a picture on the Titantron. So we had this match for the championship, and Sasha got control of the match early. She put on the bank statement, but Nia got out of it. And then Bianca, despite saying she wasn't going to help, she arrived, and Sasha managed to make a comeback. She got the bank statement on, but then all hell broke loose. Shayna Bazer got into the ring, and she went to kick Sasha, but missed and hit Nia Jax. Referee was distracted. Bianca Belair went after Bazer, and then Sasha took advantage of the situation and pinned Nia. Match was fine, but this whole storyline feels a bit ridiculous to me. Like, the whole thing, I'm not going to interfere, and then they interfere anyways, and you kind of know what's happening. I will say it's better than what we saw last week and the last several weeks because of no Reginald. So I'll give WWE a thumbs up for no Reginald this week. TJS with a $3 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. He says, did SmackDown have a weird narrator for you? Unwatchable. I'm not sure what you're talking about, TJS. During what match or what segment? But yeah, nothing that I could think of off the top of my head as far as a strange narration goes. Michael Wayne says the Sami match. Well, I'll talk about that little video package. I will talk about that in a few minutes here. That was a bit ridiculous too. We had Edge interviewed for his main event match against main event Jey Uso. TJS says, sent you a text. Well, sending me a text does nothing right now. I will not be seeing any texts as I'm doing this. I have the chat room up, and that's all I'm seeing. Anyways, let's move on here. We had Edge interviewed. He reflected on his best and worst moments throughout his career. He said it's surreal to be having his first match on SmackDown in a decade, but it feels right. And he said that if he becomes the special guest enforcer for Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns at Fastlane, Bryan will actually have a fair match. And he talked about J Uso, said Jey has a lot of potential, but Jey needs to stop following in Reigns' shadow. Backstage, Nia Jax was very pissed off at Shayna Bazer. Shayna said she would make it up by facing Bianca Belair in a match and beat up Bianca to show that she's sorry to Nia Jax. All right, then. We had Seth Rollins come to the ring for a promo. Cesaro was trash-talked by Seth Rollins. He said that Cesaro disrespected him because he's jealous of his success. Rollins showed a recap of last week. Rollins said that he will never be disrespected again. He called Cesaro the biggest waste of potential in the history of WWE. We then had Shinsuke Nakamura interrupt, and Shin grabbed the mic from Rollins and said, "Shut up." Rollins tried to attack Shin, but Shin got the upper hand. Rollins retreated. Shin did the "come on." So Rollins got back into the ring and got the Kinshasa for his troubles. And after this segment, WWE did announce that on Sunday, it will be Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins in a one-on-one match. So we're clearly getting Cesaro versus Rollins at WrestleMania. Unfortunately for Shin, he's going to be putting over Rollins, although we could see Cesaro interfere and Shin gets a victory. But I suspect Rollins will win on Sunday. Rollins is my official prediction. Noah Foster, Predictions League. I'm going with Seth Rollins to pick up the victory there. Should be a really good match, though. Johnny Boy with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you for that, Johnny Boy. That'll pay for a month of the WWE Network. Oh, wait. That's dead. It's now Peacock with WWE Access. Johnny Boy says, enjoyed the show. Do you think it's possible that Daniel Bryan does do it to make it a triple threat at WrestleMania? With all the retirement talk from Bryan, maybe the main event will be his swan song. It could happen, and I'm feeling like, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, I'm feeling like we're not going to see Kevin Owens. See, I'm thinking of Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan against the Usos, which I was originally expecting for WrestleMania, but now it seems like Owens is going in a different direction with Zayn. Makes me think that with Bryan not in that direction, we could see Bryan get added to that match in a triple threat. We'll have to wait and see what happens at Fastlane. I mean, I still think regardless, Reigns will be retaining the championship. But we'll talk more about that here in just a few moments. We had a little video showcasing Eric Bischoff, who will be going into the Hall of Fame. For everyone's discussion on that from the NoDQ.com panel, make sure you check out the NoDQ review over on the NoDQ channel, youtube.com/AaronRiftNoDQ, where you're likely watching this from anyways. We had the Street Profits versus the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic, with the champs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode on commentary. Quick match here. Mysterio prevented a doomsday device. Rey Mysterio prevented it. And Dominic rolled up Dawkins to score the 1-2-3 victory. Then we had the Alpha Academy show up, and they said they're actually in the front of the line because they already beat the Mysterios. They got knocked out of the ring, and after the commercial break, holla, 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 Teddy Long special, another tag team match. Rey hit the 619 to Gable, but then Otis was able to stop Rey's splash off the top. And then the bad guys got the upper hand. Chad Gable suplexed Dominic, and then Otis hit the big splash off the second rope to score the 1-2-3 victory. And I'm thinking we're getting a fatal four-way now. I thought maybe we were going to see Street Profits versus Roode and Ziggler, but you guys know how this goes at WrestleMania. You got to get everybody on the card. And the way this was built up, like everybody now has an argument for getting a title match. Street Profits never got their rematch. Rey Mysterio and Dominic beat the Street Profits, and American Alpha beat Rey and Dominic. I'm guessing it's going to be a fatal four-way now at WrestleMania for the SmackDown titles. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. It's what you come to expect. The undercard tends to have these multi-way matches to get as many people on the card as possible. We had Kevin Owens backstage, and this is the stuff with Sami Zayn that I was alluding to earlier. Zayn asked Owens if Owens was going to be part of his documentary. Owens said he's still not sure. He wants to know what is this conspiracy? What is happening here? Who is out to get Sami? And Sami said that if Owens will be in his corner for a match against King Corbin, Owens can see firsthand what the conspiracy is and can make sure that if anything suspicious happens, that he'll be able to help Sami out. So Owens did agree to be in Sami's corner for a match. We had Daniel Bryan come to the ring for a promo, and he talked about how he knows Jey Uso will screw him or do everything possible to screw him if Jey is the special enforcer. The thing is, what is Edge going to do? Because Edge, as far as Bryan is concerned, wants Reigns one-on-one. Bryan said that Edge thinks he can beat Reigns. Bryan said he knows he can beat Reigns. Reigns appeared with Paul Heyman, and Reigns said he can only tolerate the lies for so long, and Bryan does not stand a chance of tapping him out. Reigns said that he has never tapped out. He would rather lose his arm. He would rather die in the ring than tap out to somebody like Daniel Bryan. Pretty brutal here. And Bryan responded by saying he's not just going to make Reigns tap out, but he's going to break Reigns. One way or another, he is going to leave Fastlane with the Universal title. Hell of a segment here. Reigns did great. Bryan did great. And yeah, I'm not sure how you guys feel, but I'm wanting to see Reigns versus Bryan more than Reigns versus Edge at this point. Bryan's mic work is just so good. And now, like, I feel you have to have him in the triple threat at WrestleMania. I'm wanting to see Bryan win the title, not Edge. And WWE is going to set themselves up again, all over again, like 2015, where everyone's going to want to see Bryan in the title match, and he's not in it. And will fans hijack? Will the fans in Tampa, the first show back from the pandemic, will they boo this match out of the building if Bryan is not in it? It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And Brandon says Edge will win the Universal title either way at WrestleMania. He might, but if it's a triple threat, no guarantee. He might decide to put over Bryan, or they may decide to let Reigns keep the title. Hard to say. Kane says don't give them any ideas, and Elon Brown says seems like Edge is the third wheel. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think that Edge and Reigns is cooling off and Bryan should really be in the title match? Let me know what you think in the chat room. We had a video package for Sami Zayn versus King Corbin, and they're calling it the least anticipated match in SmackDown history. This was really dumb. Like, who put this video package together? Did Corbin do it? Did Sami Zayn do it? Did Kevin Owens do it? Is there actually somebody conspiring against Sami Zayn and we're going to get a reveal at some point? Like, I did not understand this at all. Like, why these two guys would be buried like this, you know, even as a joke. It just seemed really dumb. But I'll wait and see what the payoff is. And Ace in his familiar vlogs says, why so negative today? I actually thought I was fairly positive. I thought SmackDown was a good show, so I'm not sure where you're getting all the negative thoughts from, but I think SmackDown is a solid show, and this week I think it's been pretty good. But we're not done with the recap yet. Maybe there will be some negativity, so stay tuned. We had this match between Sami Zayn and King Corbin, which Corbin really did not want to do, but he was out there. Owens was on commentary, not really in the corner of Sami Zayn. He was just watching. Zayn tried to cheat, of course. He tried to take off the turnbuckle pad, but the referee caught him and stopped him from doing it. Corbin quickly took advantage, hit the end of days, and then after the match, Zayn went over to Owens and asked him about if he saw anything suspicious. Owens was like, no, didn't see anything suspicious other than you trying to cheat. And Zayn got very upset. He threw a fit, and when Owens was talking to the commentators, Michael Cole and Corey Graves, Zayn blindsided him with a haluva kick, yelled, "Open your eyes! I'm not crazy, you're blind." I thought this was really entertaining. What does this mean for WrestleMania, though? Is it going to be Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn? A revisiting of their classic feud? I'm very curious to see where this is going now, and if it is going to be a one-on-one match, or if they're going to do some kind of multi-man match with Owens and Zayn. But yeah, it looks like this, for the time being, is going to be the new direction for Kevin Owens. And I was thinking Owens would maybe team up with Bryan against the Usos when Jimmy returns, but who knows when Jimmy's returning. One would think he'll be back at Fastlane, but they might keep him away until WrestleMania. Who knows? We had Big E and Apollo in a little face-to-face interview segment, the split screen where they're in different parts of the building. Big E said he's looking for vengeance, and he told Apollo to make the most out of the next 2 days, enjoy normal functioning of the limbs, because Sunday, Apollo is going to get what he deserves. Apollo, in his accent, said that Big E should not disrespect Nigerian royalty, said that he's going to crack Big E's face, and yes, he will get what he deserves, and that is the Intercontinental Championship. Big E said he didn't want to wait, so he left. He got in a golf cart, drove halfway across the stadium. He found Apollo. Apollo was hesitant about fighting, but they did engage in a brawl. Officials broke them up, and Apollo was able to flee. He got on the golf cart and retreated. Elon Brown says, I'm liking the Apollo heel turn. Don't get me wrong, but the accent has to go. I know it's a part of the gimmick, but it has to go. And Dominic Vincent says, even if they do give the belt to Edge, he ain't worth be champion long. I don't care because Vince loves Roman Reigns so much. Roman is champion soon because Edge is not a weekly competitor. Well, Edge did say he wants to be on TV every week, so I would assume that if he wins the title, he will be wrestling somewhat on a regular basis. But again, we'll have to wait and see. We had Bianca Belair versus Shayna Bazer, and Shayna was acting, let me restart that. Bianca Belair versus Shayna Bazer. Sasha Banks was going to come out there and act like she would be in Bianca's corner, but then turned around and went to the back. Not much of a match here. Nia Jax quickly left, and as soon as she left, Natalya and Tamina Snuka took advantage, got in the ring. They attacked Shayna Bazer, causing a DQ, and that was that. That was the final build-up for Sunday. I'm wondering if I should change my picks, although I could still see Sasha and Bianca winning the titles on Sunday and going on to WrestleMania. Maybe they'll fight Nia Jax, Shayna Bazer, and Natalya and Tamina and Mandy and the other one, Dana Brooke. They can have another multi-person tag team title match. Nothing would surprise me at this point. We then had our main event match, which was Edge versus Jey Uso. Edge had this new gear with bright blue colors, black and blue and white. The blue, it reminded me of AJ Styles a little bit. I feel like Edge went into the AJ Styles wardrobe and altered it with his own design. We had Edge sent ribs first into the steel steps, and Jey Uso took advantage of that, worked over the ribs of Edge for a while. Like I said, this was Edge's first match in 10 years on SmackDown. Jey hit a big frog splash onto the ribs, got a near fall, and Edge was able to make a comeback, picked up the victory with the spear, and then after the match was over, Reigns came into the ring and hit Edge with a spear. Daniel Bryan had been out there on commentary, and basically they said Jey Uso was the devil that Bryan knew. Edge was the devil that Bryan did not know, and of course Edge did win, so Edge is going to be the special enforcer at the pay-per-view. Elon Brown says he likes the Edge gear, and so did MVP Kev. So yeah, after Reigns speared Edge, Reigns called Bryan into the ring. However, before Bryan could get into the ring, Jey Uso jumped Bryan from behind. Bryan was thrown into the ring, and then Reigns hit a spear to Bryan, held up his championship. Back in the day, the guy holding up the title on the Go Home show would tend to lose the title, but I will not be changing my prediction. Whether Bryan gets added to the match because of a screw job or whatever, I fully suspect that we will see Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania defending the championship, and he will win. He will retain his title at Fastlane. And that was SmackDown, everybody. Show was pretty solid. Wasn't a bad SmackDown at all. At least they did add a few more matches, even if it was last minute, to the Fastlane pay-per-view. I am going to give it a B- this week. TGS with a $3 super chat. Thank you for that, TJS. He says, did you catch Paul White on Talk is Jericho? Smart guy. I have not heard it yet, but I might check it out at some point. I might have heard a few clips of it, but not the whole thing. I'm not sure. I'm sometimes confusing podcasts. I know Paul White was also on Oral Sessions, so he's making the rounds. The Game is on 100 with a $5 super chat. Says, our number one tribal chief, Roman Reigns versus Edge, is the main event. No triple threat whatsoever. You smarks can't get you want all the time. Let it be. Get over it. I mean, it could be a triple threat. I would be fine with a one-on-one match. I wanted to see Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens against the Usos, and to me, that would be a logical storyline. I prefer one-on-one matches. I'm just saying, I think that with the way this is building up, like, I think people are going to want to see Bryan compete for the title at WrestleMania, and if not, they're gonna feel unsatisfied, and they're going to possibly turn on the match at Raymond James Stadium. Let's see what you guys thought about the show. I'm seeing a lot of B's. Mike B, Israel, Game is on, Mohammed, Michael Wayne, CC Drink, all giving it a B. MVP Kev with a B-. And Martin R. Cruz says it was all right. I would give the show a C+. TGS really did not like the narration. It was what, like a 20-second video package or 30-second video package? He says F because of the terrible narration. All right, then. So that was SmackDown, everybody. I will be back Sunday night to recap the show. Make sure you guys tune in for that. Fastlane recap on NoDQ.com. I will be doing the play-by-play coverage, match by match. Head over to NoDQ.com for that. Fastlane, first show on Peacock, but it will also be on WWE Network if you still have an active subscription. And once your subscription expires, which for everybody it will be in the United States by April 5th, I believe, you'll have to sign up for Peacock. I think I'm going to stay on WWE Network until they kick me off. Father Adrian with a €2 super chat says, I like my matches how I like my women 1 versus 1. All right, then. Good for you, Father Adrian. And on that note, have a great weekend, everybody. Take care, and I will see you all next time.